recovery facility in Calatagan to help them manage waste responsibly. SMC also believes these cleanups help stem the tide of pollution at its source by shaping the way people interact with the environment, and that by working together, we can make a difference. Sam Sidwani, CNN Philippines.
Hello everyone, this is News Night where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Rico Hizon, sitting in for Pete. The second to the nation of children, health experts give tips on how to better prepare them for the shots. And a tearful Adele apologizes for the postponement of her series of concerts in Las Vegas. Four provinces are now under the second to the highest alert level until the end of the month as COVID-19 cases surge outside Metro Manila. The government has declared alert level 4 in Kalinga, Ifugao, Mountain Province, and Northern Samar. This automatically limits movement of people below 18 years old and above 65, except for essential goods and services. Also restricted to go mass gatherings, staycations, indoor and outdoor recreational activities are not allowed. Here now is a list of 15 areas under alert level 3. The Octa Research Group says nationwide daily cases will remain at the 30,000 level in the coming days because of rising infections in the provinces. But cases in Metro Manila are on the decline at over 9,000 yesterday, down by half from 18,000 last week.
If the trends continue, we're projecting about 2,000 cases, more or less 2,000 to 3,000 by the end of this month. Hopefully by Valentine's Day, it will be down to about 1,000 cases per day in NCR. And by the end of February, these are my new projections, it could be down to about less than 500.
Today, the Health Department recorded over 32,000 new cases with 156 additional deaths and more than 16,000 recoveries. Active cases are at a new all-time high, above 291,000. Health Undersecretary Rosario Vergere says it is too early to tell if cases have peaked in Metro Manila as a number of people who turn out positive in tests remains high. COVID-19 is the second leading cause of death among Filipinos in 2021, according to data from the Philippine Statistics Authority. The government plans to get more pharmacies and clinics to help provide booster shots against COVID-19 as hundreds showed up during its rollout in Metro Manila. We have more now from Stanley Gahete.
On its second day, more pharmacies and clinics joined the pilot testing for the rollout of COVID-19 booster shots. This is part of the government's effort to increase the number of vaccinated individuals by making the vaccines more accessible and available to the public. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. said they tapped different private pharmacies and health clinics in Metro Manila to hasten the COVID-19 inoculation since many health workers now are affected by the Omicron variant. Qualimed Clinic in Makati accepted the initial rollout of booster shots.
Mas mabilis since dito ako nag-work, so dito na ako dumirect.
Different pharmacies and clinics in Metro Manila. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez says they are in direct contact with these establishments for the continuous supply of vaccines and syringes. Galvez said their initial assessment of the rollout was successful since the public accepted the program. The National Task Force Against COVID-19 targets to limit the booster shots to only 50 individuals per pharmacy or clinic, but this could exceed depending on the demand.
After 2 years, there is a solution, and there is supply. There's overflowing supply, and there is access.
The government plans to expand this to more drugstores nationwide soon. Other countries have also adopted this strategy to fight the increasing COVID-19 cases. Booster shots are now available in different selected pharmacies and centers. For now, they prioritize A1 to A5 groups age 18 and up, or members of the adult population, but majority should come from the A4 working group. However, senior citizens and individuals with comorbidities are not included for now. Even those who have not yet finished their second doses and those who are age 17 below are not allowed.
So meron siyang mga tinatawag na regular allocation and also special allocation para at least tuloy-tuloy yung pagbabakuna natin.
Galvez also said that 1.2 million COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer will arrive at the end of the month. 780,000 are allotted for children, and on the first week of February, another 1.6 million will come. By that time, they will also start vaccinating children aged 5 to 11. Stanley Gahete, CNN Philippines.
A social weather station survey shows vaccine hesitancy among Filipinos has gone down. The poll from December 12 to 16 last year, with 1,440 respondents, says those who refuse to get COVID-19 vaccines dropped to 8%, the lowest recorded since May to September. Malacanang believes information campaigns led to the continuous drop in vaccine hesitancy. Acting presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles says the We Vax as One mobile vaccination drive will be brought to train stations, airports, and tollways in the coming days to make it more accessible to motorists and commuters. The government earlier announced COVID-19 vaccines will be available from January 24 to 28 at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, where 500 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines will be available daily and walk-ins will be allowed. Health experts give advice on how to prepare children for inoculation as the government begins their COVID-19 vaccination next month. Paulo Barcelon has the details.
As the government prepares for the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines for children 5 to 11 years old, experts are giving parents advice on how they can help their children deal with this experience. Currently, the Philippines only allows the use of the Pfizer vaccines for children aged 5 to 11. It will be given in smaller doses, and their vials will have an orange cap instead of the purple ones used for adult doses. First and foremost, it is important to assure children that vaccines are safe and effective.
Kailangan maintindihan ng mga bata na ito ay proteksyon para sa kanila at proteksyon para sa kanila at sa mga kasama nila sa bahay. Kasama na
Their time and be patient in explaining to children the vaccination process. This is because children may hesitate to go back for their second dose if they do not feel good when they get their first shot. It's also helpful to use terms such as getting a pinch instead of an injection to encourage children to get vaccinated. Children may also be shown videos or photos of vaccination to show them how it will be done. Come vaccination day, parents should prepare their kids' documents and bring them to the vaccination site. Make sure too that your kids are masked up.
Meron naman pong maraming pwedeng sources of proof. If possible, to bring birth certificate, that's usually the best evidence. But there are also in our guidelines other list of possible evidences.
If your child is about to be vaccinated, try distracting them when they are about to be pinched. Asking your child to close their eyes may also help. Give your children comfort by either sitting or standing beside them during the shot. You can also hold their hand to dispel their fears. Ice packs may also help children who may experience pain after vaccination. After getting their dose, it pays to praise your child. Give them a small gift or token. The health department says part of the strategy to avoid confusion once young children start getting vaccinated is to have dedicated sites as well as vaccination teams and days catering only to children. Children with underlying illnesses should secure clearance from their doctors before getting their coronavirus shots. Paulo Barcelon, CNN Philippines.
Another change in the rules for our kababayans coming home, those who recently recovered from COVID-19 but still test positive in their pre-departure RT-PCR test may still enter the country, subject to certain requirements. The Pandemic Task Force says returning Filipinos should also present a medical certificate stating they have completed the mandatory isolation period and are no longer infectious and have been allowed free movement. Upon arrival, the traveler also needs to undergo facility-based quarantine.
Kung fully vaccinated at galing sa green list countries, territories, or jurisdictions, kailangan nila mag-facility-based quarantine prescribed for yellow list countries, territories, or jurisdictions for fully vaccinated arriving passengers.
The government earlier scrapped the mandatory quarantine for fully vaccinated travelers from green list countries. And straight ahead, the political party backed by President Rodrigo Duterte adopts a presidential daughter as its vice presidential candidate. But who will be their presidential bet? Investigators arrest 5 suspects linked to the cyber hacking of a banking giant. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust.
Pandemic, serving others is the best. Sa pagtutulungan, patuloy ang ating laban sa buhay. Kaya dapat always healthy. With proper diet, exercise, and MX3 coffee mix to ignite my day. Hi guys! Lagi akong focused, active, at MX Extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 coffee mix, my choice.
Your vote, your voice, our future.
Welcome back to Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. After a few delays, the Commission on Elections started printing the official ballots for the national and local polls in May. The printing was scheduled last week, but due to some technical issues, COMELEC only started printing the first batch of the ballots last night. According to spokesman James Jimenez, the National Printing Office started the press work of 60,000 copies of the local absentee voters' ballots. The LAVs are manual ballots wherein the voter will have to manually write the names of their chosen candidates. These ballots will be used by those on duty on election day. After finishing the first 60,000 copies, COMELEC will then begin printing at least 80,000 more for registered Filipino voters abroad and for the Bangsamoro region. The poll body aims to print 67.4 million ballots on or before April 21, or exactly 3 months from now. Updates now on some 2022 aspirants. The Cusi-led faction of ruling party PDP Laban adopts Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte as its vice presidential bet. The wing led by Senator Manny Pacquiao, however, denounces the move, saying this is a desperate attempt to hold on to power. But for the camp of Duterte's running mate, Bongbong Marcos, the adoption by the ruling party deserves utmost respect. Labor leader Calyodi de Guzman wants to shorten working hours from 8 to 6 a day while still maintaining same benefits and wages. He says this is so millions of new jobs can be created. The Partido Lakas ng Masa standard bearer also proposed to impose a one-time 20% wealth tax on the country's top 500 families to finance his 1 trillion peso economic recovery plan. Senator Manny Pacquiao criticizes the Agriculture Department for saying that Typhoon Odette caused the fish shortage. Pacquiao says it was a lousy excuse to justify fish importation. He calls on the agency to extend aid to local fishermen. Supporters of Vice President Leni Robredo in Bicol urge their kababayans to remain calm amid news that 11 Bicol mayors have pledged to support Marcos. As of now, only 2 town mayors have expressed support for Robredo. The group is giving the other mayors until tomorrow to give their side on this matter. Senator Ping Lacson vows to carry out the criminal justice system fairly. Lacson also looked into the viral case of the 80-year-old man arrested for supposedly stealing mangoes in Pangasinan. The senator says the caretaker of the lot, a truck driver, has also become a victim as he cannot go to work because of bullying online. Lacson adds the caretaker is willing to settle, but asks this information be rectified. 5 people allegedly behind the massive hacking incident that targeted customers of Banco de Oro Unibank last year have been arrested. The National Bureau of Investigation said 2 of the suspects, both Nigerians, were caught in an entrapment operation in Mabalacat, Pampanga last January 18th. The 3 other suspects are Filipinos and were arrested in a separate operation. More than 700 BDO customers fell victim to a heist perpetrated by an unidentified group of hackers last December. BDO has yet to issue a statement. At the Manila North Harbor, nearly 100 passengers have been stranded because of the no vaccination, no ride rule. But it's possible they will get to travel by Monday. Philippine Ports Authority General Manager Jay Santiago told CNN Philippines. The port operator says it is coordinating with the shipping lines on the issue.
We will ensure that they will be able to board that vessel on Monday so that they will be in Zamboanga by late Monday or Tuesday. I have also instructed our port management office in Zamboanga to make representations to the city government of Zamboanga to allow them to proceed by way of exception out of humanitarian considerations and out of compassion.
Well, the passengers have been stranded since Monday and have been provided food and cash assistance, and some were given vaccines. The PPA calls on local governments to adopt common requirements and prevent confusion among travelers. Moving now to stranded overseas Filipino workers, an OFW group is calling for immediate assistance to those affected by the ongoing travel bans. Hong Kong and Taiwan have tightened restrictions on the entry of migrant workers amid the surge in cases fueled by the Omicron variant. Migrante International urges the government to provide stranded OFWs with a 10,000 peso cash aid and flight rebooking assistance, as well as free RT-PCR tests and temporary shelter in Metro Manila. Despite most Omicron cases being mild so far, the rise in hospitalizations and infection among health workers are also impacting services for other illnesses. Caroline Bonkin tells us among the most affected are dialysis patients.
At the age of 56, dialysis has been Ferdinand Miraña's lifeline. He's suffering from a stage 5 chronic kidney disease and diabetes, requiring him to go on dialysis twice a week. But he caught COVID-19 infection early this month. With hospitals full and short on staff amid the latest surge, Ferdinand's daughter says it was hard to find a dialysis center for COVID patients.
Try po akong tumawag sa one hospital po man, pero 1 week na po, wala pa rin po talagang nakahanap na hospital para sa kay Papa.
For 2 weeks, Ferdinand didn't get his life support treatment. He was at home waiting to find a hospital. A friend lent them oxygen supply to help ease his symptoms. For a dialysis patient, a missed treatment could be life-threatening.
Sobrang manas na nagpapahirap na rin po siyang huminga. Akala po namin bibitaw na.
They recently found a private COVID dialysis center, but their next hurdle is payment. Dialysis for COVID patients is more than triple the usual 2,000 pesos they pay per regular treatment with PhilHealth. At private centers, it costs at least 8,000 pesos.
Kaya po sobrang hirap kami kasi syempre, dalawa lang po kami nagtatrabaho sa pamilya. Medyo kailangan po talaga namin pumayod para lang ma-reach po yung 8,000 po na kada session po. Kaya siya ganun kamahal kasi po yung danger din po na kinakaharap ng mga nag-a-assist po ng mga sa nurse ng dialysis center po. Kaya ganun daw po kataas.
The National Kidney and Transplant Institute has been full in the past 2 weeks and is now referring patients to other dialysis centers. Over 500 health workers are under quarantine, so they had to close down 7 units with 150 beds.
Baba man ang number of cases, pero yung mga nasa hospital na dahil nga karamihan ay mga may sakit sa kidney at nagpa-dialysis, hindi agad na discharge. Kaya napupuno ang ER.
The Dialysis PH Support Group wrote to several government agencies, including PhilHealth and the Health Department, for special PhilHealth care rate for dialysis patients, better coordination to help find vacant dialysis centers, and to help lower the cost of treatment.
Hanggat maaari po agaran kasi Yung iba po talaga, hindi po sila namamatay sa COVID namamatay po sila kasi hindi sila nakakapag-dialysis. Hindi lang po kaming mga dialysis patient yung apektado, pati po yung mga may cancer na nagkikimo.
CNN Philippines relayed the dialysis patients concerned to DOH and is still waiting for their response. Caroline Bongkin, CNN Philippines.
Returning now to our lead story at this hour, Northern Samar is under alert level 4 until the end of the month due to higher COVID-19 transmission and healthcare occupancy issues. For more on the situation there, we go above and beyond the headlines with Dr. Ninfa Caparroso-Cam, Northern Samar Provincial Health Officer. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Kamusta po ang situation ngayon sa Northern Samar? Ilan po ang mga kasong naitala ninyo ngayon?
Sa araw na ngayon po ay we have 455, which is an increase from our 359 from yesterday.
And,
but our hospitalization has gone down from 69 to around 47 today.
And ilan po ang mga ospital sa Northern Samar are attending to these COVID cases?
Ang provincial hospital po, yun ang level 1. Ito po yung pwedeng mag-admit ng mga moderate cases. And then we have another level 1, which is 50-bed capacity. And then we have 7 other district hospitals na 10-bed capacity siya.
And among these cases that you have seen over the past week, no, Doktora, are there more patients admitted and needing critical care, or are there more mild to moderate patients isolating at home?
We have more mild to moderate, but the thing is, no, we have more incidental, na I would say incidental COVID patients. Ba't ko nasabing incidental? Pumunta sila sa hospital not because they're having symptoms of COVID, no? But ito ay manganganak, ito ay na-aksidente. It so happened that we did a swab and then nag-positive sila. So diretso sila sa COVID ward. So konti lang yung talagang pumupunta rito sa amin for COVID signs and symptoms. In fact, no, nung kataasan ng aming cases, no, I guess the highest that we have at the provincial hospital is 63. Aanim lang yung talagang nag-moderate na nangailangan ng oxygen. So we're seeing more and more mild cases.
And these mild cases, no, most of them are isolating at home. Minomonitor niyo po ba itong mga patients who have COVID in their respective residences?
Ang mga municipal, no, ang municipal LGUs, ang mga RHUs, rural health units, ito yung nagmo-monitor sa kanila. As far as the provincial hospital is concerned, we are monitoring those na na-admit dito sa aming COVID ward and our healthcare professionals who are in our isolation facility. So, in terms of monitoring, yes, we do in terms of the numbers, no? How many are in isolation or in quarantine in different municipalities.
Doktora, yung Department of Health Eastern Visayas came out with an advisory, no? Northern Samar is part of Eastern Visayas. And they mentioned in their advisory about the reactivation of COVID-19 surge capacity and the increase of dedicated beds in all healthcare facilities. Kung marami itong more mild cases rather than severe cases, hindi po kailangan ito.
Kasi po, tulad ng sinabi ko, napakarami ng incidental, no? They came to the hospital not because they're having signs and symptoms of COVID, but because eto nga nanganak, no? Vehicular accidents, urinary tract infection, and other medical cases. Since it is our protocol, no, na lahat ng ina-admit dito ay sinaswab, so it turned out that they're positive. So kaya napupunta sila sa aming COVID ward. As I've said, no, hindi karamihan ng na-admit namin are because they are COVID-related signs and symptoms na reason for admission.
So importante rin po itong reactivation, no, ng Department of Health Eastern Visayas. Tungkol po sa bakuna, how many now are fully vaccinated in Northern Samar and have been boosted?
I don't have the exact figures right now nung nagkaroon ng booster, no? But as of as of Monday, no, nasa 69% yung aming vaccination rate.
And are there still people, our kababayans in Northern Samar who are refusing to get vaccinated? Meron pa bang vaccine hesitancy?
Oh yes, definitely, no? Merong iba dyan na grupo because of religious beliefs. Meron naman dahil itong mga to ay talagang nasa mga tinatawag nating GIDA areas, no? So difficult to go there. But nung na-impose yung hindi na pwedeng pumasok sa mga different establishments, ngayon dinadagsa ang aming mga rural health units, yung aming mga vaccination centers, no? Dati kami naghahanap ng babakunahan, ngayon sila naghahanap ng bakuna.
And how are you convincing them po to get vaccinated and get protected from COVID-19?
Marami tayong meron tayong mga radio plugs, meron tayong mga pinapalabas ng aming Provincial Information Office. But as I've said, no, because inimpose na ng mga local government units, yung hindi pwedeng pumasok sa mga government and private establishments, yung walang bakuna at saka yung sa workplace, hindi pwedeng pumasok, no, kung wala ka rin, hindi ka rin fully vaccinated, or in the absence of vaccination, you have to have your RT-PCR or rapid antigen at your own expense. Mukhang it's working, no? Hindi na namin kailangan kumbinsihin, sila na mismo ang nagpapabakuna.
Ayan, you mentioned po about testing, no? Do you think that there's sufficient tracing and testing in Northern Samar para makita po natin yung gravity, yung laki nitong Omicron or Delta sa probinsya? All right, we've lost our connection to Dr. Ninfa Akam, and we would like to thank her for joining us on Newsnight. That was Dr. Ninfa Akam, Provincial Health Officer from Northern Samar. And we have more stories straight ahead on Newsnight. Find out why British pop superstar Adele broke down in tears online. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can trust.
Pesos a week. That's how much the economy loses when movement is limited because of higher alert levels. But while the economic team says the impact is much less this time around against previous lockdowns, businesses say frequently changing pandemic response policies does not help them recover from the health crisis, even as they have to always be on the lookout for the welfare of their staff to prevent infection and work disruption. Will rapid antigen self-test kits help better monitor workplace safety? And what does it take for a business to thrive during these tough times? The vision of a real estate company's success in our C-suite vision.
Glad you're staying with us on Newsnight. COVID-19 pushes back British singer Adele's Las Vegas residency on the eve of opening night. An emotional Adele apologized to fans on Instagram, saying that half of her team caught the virus. Tickets for the show sold out in 6 hours back in December.
I'm so upset and I'm really embarrassed, and I'm so sorry to everyone that's travelled again. I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry. We're on it. We're going to reschedule all of the dates. We're on it right now.
In a concert residency, an artist holds a series of shows in an exclusive venue. Adele's was scheduled to last until April 16th at Caesars Palace Hotel. Well, plans have been laid out for a new film studio that will get Hollywood stars a lot closer to the actual stars above. Well, Variety magazine reports that Space Entertainment Enterprise, or SEE, the company co-producing Tom Cruise's upcoming space movie, is set to launch a zero-gravity production studio. SEE wants the module to also contain a sports and entertainment arena and a content studio, all in outer space. Well, it's called SEE-1, and the company plans to build it by December 2024. That will be awesome, a studio in space. And that's it for now. Join me again on The Final Word at 9 tonight. I'm Rico Hizon for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. Good night.
Mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. RPN sa iba't ibang mga lalawigan. DZRL Bataan, DZBS Baguio, DZKI Iriga, DYKB Bacolod, DYKC Cebu, DXKS Surigao, DXKD Dipolo, DXKO Cagayan de Oro, DXKT Davao, DXKP Pagadian, DXXX Zamboanga, DXDX General Santos.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
The start of a new year means a list of new resolutions, and chances are losing weight is high on your list. But research shows only a small percentage achieve this goal every year. That's because many of us resort to crash diets and intense programs that are usually short-lived. Incorporating a few easy habits into your daily routine can make a huge difference in the long run. On the program today, we'll talk more about these health hacks for a new and improved you. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. Welcome to MedTalk Health Talk right here on CNN Philippines. Staying healthy means taking steps in your everyday life to care for your body and your mind. Our guests today are here to tell us more. With us is Dr. Oy Balburias, who is a functional medicine practitioner from the Medical City. Also with us is Dr. Candy Drilon Dalman. She is a functional and integrative medicine specialist and the founder of Centro Holistico. Thank you both for joining us on the program. Now, earlier on the show, we mentioned that losing weight is a common goal for many. But where do you start? Now, if you're determined to be healthier, it begins with a good morning routine. Dr. Candy, let's start with that. Why is it so important to hydrate? Why can't I just drink whenever I'm thirsty?
Okay, when it comes to water, our bodies are made up of 70% of water. So, of course, first thing in the morning, you slept for at least, let's say, 8 hours. That whole time, wala kang tubig. So, it's very important that first thing in the morning, you jumpstart your body with a glass or maybe 2 glasses of water. So, one of the things that I suggest to my patients is actually putting some lemon in your water because, number one, lemon has high levels of vitamin C, folate, potassium, and other types of micronutrients that can actually help you produce your energy molecules or the ATP. And because our water nowadays is distilled, so nagiging hard yung water natin or nagiging medyo acidic. So adding some lemon into it can actually put back some of the nutrients that is actually supposed to be in your water.
Now walk us through para sa mga hindi sanay na uminom ng tubig with some citrus fruits infused with it or some other elements. How do they do this? Ano bang ang guidelines natin dito?
Basta malinis yung tubig, make sure that it is filtered water. That is totally okay. Now, some people, they don't like, adding citrusy fruits, or you can actually add other things. For me personally, I like adding herbs into it, like mint or rosemary sometimes. Just add other fruits also so that you can infuse more nutrients into your water para magkaroon siya ng konting lasa.
Pero Dr. Candy, can this be the normal water na inumin nila all throughout the day? Ito na yung parang pinaka-standard water na iniinom nila.
Yes, definitely, you can do that. In fact, it actually has more health benefits because aside from the healing powers of water, you add more micronutrients to your day. So para kang umiinom ng vitamins all throughout the day.
Very good tips from Dr. Candy. So I suggest to our viewers, the night before you go to bed, have 2 glasses of water ready so that when you wake up, you're ready to drink and hydrate. It's harder to stick to a diet when you don't plan ahead. Dr. Oyi, could you tell us more about the benefits ng pagplano ng meal or being prepared with a grocery list whenever you go to the grocery store?
It's important for everyone to recognize that actually when you say the word diet, it means you're removing something. No? So, but every macronutrients, fats, proteins, and carbs are all equally important for our body system. No? So, it's important to know what are your deficit of, especially if you have chronic conditions or diseases, so that you can utilize and create a meal formula and a meal structure that will serve as a medicine for your body in order for you to provide the necessary needs or nutrients or the unique needs of your body.
Meal planning really is a great way to make sure that you're eating a well-balanced meal. Dr. Oyi, ano mga tips ang may bibigay mo sa mga viewers natin, especially those na beginner pa lang sa meal planning?
First and foremost, then when you go to the grocery, so try to go to the side, no? So we're in vegetables and fruits and all those whole, real processed foods are there, no? And of course, mas maganda nga if you really have a list, especially if you know what are the nutrients that you are depleted of, and you know the foods that contains all of those nutrients, then that should be part of your fresh list of foods that you should be consuming and on a daily basis.
So eventually, you'll find a process that works best for you and your family. But if there was one thing in the typical diet of a Filipino that in your opinion creates the most damage na mas maganda na wala, what would it be?
There are foods that are highly processed or ultra processed. So ito talaga yung wala ka nang nakukuhang nutrients at the same time full of preservatives, additives pa. No? So anything that is packaged or processed is something that you need to think a lot before you put it in your mouth. No? So when we talk about food, the first is that we talked about foods that are whole, real, and really unprocessed. So that's what we mean by food that will nourish the body.
Everyone knows that simple sugar or table sugar is a leading culprit when it comes to weight gain. Dr. Candy, what are some good alternatives to table sugar?
Okay, so number one, the reason why we don't like table sugar is it's actually stripped off of a lot of the nutrients. So eating something sweet like fruits is still better because even if it does have some sugar, it also has other micronutrients that will help you burn off the sugar in your body. So as alternatives, ang number one na narinig ko recently and one of my personal favorites that we always have in the house is stevia because it comes from leaf extract. So kumbaga, yung aside from the pampatamis, there are other nutrients also from stevia. Now, my other favorite also is cocoa sugar because the glycemic index is actually lower as compared to your table sugar, and it also has other nutrients, and it's considered more of a whole food. So, hindi siya as nakaka-trigger ng insulin as compared to your table sugar. Now, my other favorite is yakon. So, it's actually mukha siyang gabi. It's a very sweet root crop, and it has a lot of minerals also. So yung ginagawa ng iba, they blend it and then they can mix it in with their with anything that they want to sweeten up, or yung iba ginu-juice nila yung yakon and then that's what they mix in their drinks or in their other things that they want to sweeten up. So those are very, very good alternatives.
Now these are just some of the health hacks that can go a long way for your diet, but this needs to go hand in hand with some form of physical activity. How can we make sure that we get enough exercise in the middle of our busy schedules? When we return, we'll give you some fitness hacks for your workday. Stay with us here on Med Talk Health Talk, your partner in healthcare.
RPN Radio Philippines Network. DXTD Dipolo Radio
Paturagas. Muatod kaninyo sa mga labas nga mga balita. Paturagas. Paturagas. Mga balitang gikan sa lokal, regional ug nasyonal nga mga tinubdan. Paturagas. Humisgot sa bisan unsang hinisgutanan nga may kalabigitan sa katawhan. Paturagas. Inyong mabati din hilamang sa RPN Dex Kini Dipulo 1053 sa dial sa inyong mga radyo. Ang tulumanong Paturagas
inyong mabati matag alas 8 ngadto na sa alas 9 sa buntag,
Lunes hangtod Biyernes. DXKD Dipolo Radio Ronda.
I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez and welcome back to MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines, where caring is our calling. The pandemic has changed the way we live, including our exercise routines. The closure of gyms, fitness studios, and parks have hindered us from our usual workouts. On top of that, most of us sit in our desks from morning even up to night, only moving to go to the kitchen or the bathroom. Now, we need to consciously find ways to get the physical activity that we need. Before we give you some of these health hacks, Dr. Oye, let's talk about the benefits of physical activity or increasing the movement that we have during the day. Because here on MedTalk Health Talk, we always emphasize the need for a well-balanced diet and exercise to stay healthy.
Well, of course, Dr. Freddy, exercise is medicine because, well, exercise can benefit several systems of our body, most especially now during the pandemic. Now, exercise can really boost, strengthen, and modulate the response of your immune system. Definitely, exercise provides a lot of neurotransmitters. Exercise also provides endurance both for our heart as well as for our lungs, so that we can easily perform a lot of activities. It's just important to know that exercise as medicine also requires a personal prescription. So it's important for you to know what's the exact frequency, intensity, as well as duration and the type of exercise that your body will benefit from.
Since the onset of the pandemic, many of us find ourselves sitting for extended periods of time. And this has been linked to several medical conditions, including obesity, as well as high blood pressure. Now, a useful hack is to take a stretch break every so often. Now, this can boost your energy, increase your focus, and even improve your mood. Dr. Candy, pag-usapan natin yon, is stretching enough to be able to get that vigor back in our body, to be able to get that movement that we need?
Well, for one thing, stretching is a good start, definitely. Especially if you've been sitting down, like if you're working from home, you're seated in front of the computer the whole day for 8 hours. Having a stretch break is a very good start already. At least, kumbaga nababanat natin yung mga buto natin, and your muscles and even your lymphatic system will have actually a very good benefit from stretching. So just make sure that when you stretch, you know that you're not feeling any aches and pains anywhere, or you actually stand up and not just stretch while you're sitting down, to make sure that you're activating the entire body. So yes, that is a good, very good break. But if you can actually get up and take a quick walk or do a very quick exercise, that's actually better than a simple stretch during your work breaks.
So stretching is okay, but as Dr. Candy mentioned, increasing that heart rate even just a little bit is also very beneficial. Now, all it takes is setting aside maybe 5 minutes between work hours to stretch those muscles or walk a few steps. Now, before your workday starts, another good way to start your morning is by exercising or having some form of physical activity. Dr. Candy, can you give us some fitness hacks that our viewers can do from home?
Okay, so for our recommendation, usually the minimum exercise that the person needs to do is 150 minutes a week of cardiovascular exercise. So that's your walking, jogging, or sprinting, etc. And then 2 times a week of strength training. So that's your calisthenics, your weightlifting, etc. So yun yung general tip. So when it comes to weightlifting, even simple exercises at home, such as yung paggawa ng squats or push-ups, body weight exercises are already good. That's already considered your strength training. Now, when it comes to your cardiovascular workouts, for you to be able to cover the 150 minutes a week, that's simply 30 minutes a day. So, staggered mo na all throughout the week. So, you can do first thing in the morning, put on your workout clothes, walk outside, or if you have your own treadmill or bike at home, you can do that right away. Just wake up a little. For example, lagi ka nagmamadali or, laging late nagigising, just make that extra effort to wake up 30 minutes earlier every day just to get that workout in. That will make a big difference when it comes to your health.
Dr. Oyi, we now know you mentioned how important it is to have some physical exercise. Pero ang tanong is, how often should we be working out to be able to start losing some weight?
Well, exercise and movement, Dr. Freddy, is different. No? So important on a daily basis really to have an adequate movement per day. No? So for us to really stimulate the system. No? So at least before you start your day, either with stretching exercises that will for 20 minutes that will allow for you to sweat a little bit. That's enough already. So 20 minutes per day of stretching exercises or any form of movement like walking, no? So enough already.
And now that restrictions are easing up, it might help to go out for a walk or a very light jog every so often. Walking and jogging are some of the best ways to get exercise as well as lose weight. But ultimately, finding a workout that you enjoy will ensure that you stick to it. Research shows that your mental state can significantly influence your health. With the many stressors brought by the pandemic, how can we reduce anxiety and improve our mental well-being? More health hacks when we return. Your health is our mission here on MedTalk Health Talk.
Network, DXTD, Dipolo, Radyo, Ronda.
Mga higalan namong suking tigpaminaw, mayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Ang DXTD EM Station RPN Management Dipolog City magpahigayon og libreng panag-inambitay sa pulong sa Ginoo. Dialogo sa kamaturan. Among giawag tanang magawali sa naglain-laing relihiyon sa pagtambong ning maong programa. Dialogo sa kamaturan. Aron mapabati is tanang katawhan ang inyong matag baruganan sumala sa kamaturan alang sa hingpit nga kaluwasan ug kinabuhing walay katapusan. Dialogo sa kamaturan.
Ang dialogo sa kamaturan ninyong mabati matag alas 3 ngadto sa alas 5 sa hapon adlong Domingo.
DXTD, Dipolo, Radyo, Ronda.
I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is MedTalk Health Talk, your partner in healthcare. When it comes to keeping healthy, it requires a holistic approach. Your physical health is only one part of the equation. Your mental health can also significantly impact your overall well-being. A great hack to care for your mental health is to meditate. Dr. Candy, what is meditation? Why can it be very beneficial for people who haven't tried it before or who are high in the stress factors?
When you do meditation on a regular basis, it can really help increase your awareness about yourself and your surroundings, and at the same time helps reduce stress and helps you develop some more concentration. So it will really help you clear your mind, make you focus on what you have on hand. One of the practices that can help is really meditation, is really to lower down your stress levels. When you feel less anxious about everything around you, more focused on yourself, you actually can lower down naturally your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. And when you lower down your cortisol levels, everything else that follows with it, like it will help lower down your inflammation in the long run. It will give you a lot more benefits and not just, reducing stress.
Now, Dr. Oyi, how strong is the connection with the mind and the body? Is it possible for someone to eat everything correct, exercise properly, but if their mind is not in a good place, can that still trigger all of these ailments?
mental stress, psychological stress, emotional stress becomes harmful when it becomes chronic, when it becomes sustained. And as mentioned by Dr. Candy, when stress becomes chronic, it will create a biological response to our body in order to try to protect us. But sometimes if stress is chronic, especially if your stressors are not worth stressing about, that can actually create also biological responses or biological imbalance. So when you're chronically stressed, that would have an impact on the inflammatory response, as mentioned by Dr. Candy, that when inflammation is sustained as well, that could contribute to you why you're having recurring or chronic headache. No? So everything in the mind, the body is connected.
Now, Dr. Oye, for those who have never meditated before or are new to this, how is this done? Ano mga tips ang pwede mong bigay for beginners? Can this even be done on the go?
Well, it can be done anywhere as long as mentioned by Dr. Candy, this is a mindfulness exercise, being self-aware. You know? So there is what we apply, we call it soft belly breathing, wherein you maximally inspire through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth, just making sure that your belly is soft and not tight. No? So it takes a while, it takes practice, no? But if you constantly do it, meditation, that soft belly breathing, for at least 10-15 minutes before you start your day, that's going to really make you resilient against any type of stressors.
Another simple health hack to improve your mental well-being is a good cold shower. Now, while most of us usually prefer warm showers, some studies show that using cold water can actually have some benefits. Dr. Candy, is there any truth to this? What kind of benefits can people get by taking a cold shower?
I used to take a lot of warm showers myself because, galing aircon, gusto natin warm. And our body's natural temperature is actually warm, diba? So when you take a cold shower, parang feeling mo na stress yung katawan mo. But actually, there are some studies that shows that taking a cold shower can actually really help the body. Like how? One is it can reduce your stress levels over time because every time you take a cold shower, there is a little bit of stress in the body. And then if you do it on a regular basis, nagkakaroon tayo ng what we call hardening. Okay, hardening or parang nasasana yung katawan in that stress. So when you do this on a regular basis, the little stresses that will pop up every day of your life will not be as stressful for you anymore. So it will help you build resilience. So that's how a cold shower can help, especially for your nervous system. So it can also help with weight loss. How? Studies show that when you take a cold shower, it activates your brown fat. So you actually have two types of fat. So your white fat and your brown fat. So it's the brown fat that can help with burning of the calories. So when you take a cold shower, just a simple cold shower once a day when you wake up, it will make you more alert. It will also help activate the burning of your calories by activating that specific fat. So that's your brown fat.
Very good. Now, as a reminder to our viewers, don't use cold showers as a replacement for other prescribed medical therapies. And it's always good to talk to your doctor first before trying anything new. Now, it's completely understandable to feel stressed and anxious, especially in today's reality. But remember, you have the power to look after your mental and physical health. These are just a few tips to help improve your whole well-being. Thank you, functional medicine specialists Dr. Oye Balburias and Dr. Candy Drilon-Dalban for sharing with us your very good insights. Maraming salamat sa inyo. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez and thank you for watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. We'll see you again next time.